No
All right.
longer hear beeps until someone else joins the conference.
All right, you guys, you ready to rock and roll?
Indeed.
Fantastic. So this is a good after lunch class to come to, I'll tell you that. All right, before we get started, I have Michael Hicklin in the back of the room. He's our Chief Operating Officer, 25-year military, and he manages all of our techs, design team, developers, and so forth. And we are filming today. Do you want to guess why?
Legal reasons? I'm just kidding.
In case I say something and I want to catch it. Yes, helps me mind my P's and Q's. Anyone? Any other thoughts? Why would we film this? Educational. Okay. Anyone ever woke up in the morning and said, "I wish there were more of me"? We'd be fine if there were more of me, right? So what is that doing? It's making more of me. Right? I'm going to slice it and dice it into 100 different versions, give them different labels, drop them into YouTube, put them on a blog, throw them on social media, let them run over and over and over again, optimize them. And those videos in small little segments will generate more interest and be used for education and lead gen forever. It's permanent. Can you make more of yourself today? Absolutely. Are you the best salesperson in your company? Most technical? Most knowledgeable? Best looking? All right, so I'm the CEO of CI Web Group, Jennifer Begley, and we've been working with Amana and Goodman for quite a few years now. In HVAC, I think we now have almost 85% of our client base is strictly HVAC, so we have a lot of you, and that's been for about 8 to 10 years now going on it. So we've learned a lot. Everything that we're going to break down is really about how do we use technology to convert time to cash? What kind of strategy do we need to have in order to accelerate our businesses? What kind of network do we need to surround ourselves with? Who are the people? And then also, how do you think? So I can take two clients, same product, same service, same corner, same price, same everything. One is outperforming the other one. What does that leave that down to? What's different? What is it? They can be on the same page of marketing, same budget, same investment. Sometimes it's just how we think that creates a big, big, big difference. So our team, you guys, we've got 110 now full-time. I just got to count this morning, 110 full-time resources. They're stretched all over the United States and abroad. We run 6 days, 3 to 4 different clocks per day shifts. So I understand busy. Definitely, when you have your first morning meeting start at 11 p.m., depending on where you are in the United States, or 9 or 8. You guys are getting ready to go into your busy season or just coming out of one, depending on where you're located. So I know what it's like to get busy. However, this process of positioning our companies for permanent growth, it's important, and it requires a lot of strategy and thinking from a business owner's mindset. Why did you start your own businesses? There's only 3 reasons. Everybody has the same 3. You want more what? What was it? Money. Perfect. Next. Time. Perfect. Freedom. God, you guys are fast. Do you feel like you have more time, money, and freedom? I always get like the crazy chuckle. I get it. As an entrepreneur, I go through the same thing. But we have to figure out how can we better leverage technology to convert time to cash, increase our profits, and be able to grow. How many of you want to grow? Raise your hand. How many of you just want to stay right where you are? How many of you would like to stay where you are but have the margins go way up? Everybody wants more clients, less work, and more money. I got you. How many of you plan on selling the company someday? That's part of your exit strategy. Sail off into the sunset, umbrellas in your drinks. Yes? All right. How many of you have children to pass it on to? Do you think that the strategy for each one of these different exits is different? It's entirely different. If you're trying to prep a business for sale, that's totally different than trying to grow a business, than trying to position a business to be able to hand it down with automated systems. So today we're going to talk about 2 primary things. One is the framework that's necessary in order to position your business properly in front of your customers, your existing customers, potential staff, as well as potential customers. And the other is the engine, which how do we market this thing? How do we make it work for us? If you guys can get technology to do those things that people normally have to do, is that going to save you time and money? Create freedoms. I know the 1,000 videos I have there work morning, noon, and night. Well, I do something else. And they're out there educating and selling and providing information that normally I would have to do in person. But by leveraging technology, it allows me to do other things. Make sense? All right. So first and foremost, take off your business owner hat for just a minute. How many of you are dads? Husbands? Keep the smiles. Okay? Homeowners. Fantastic. So just stay there. You need something, a new product or service. What do you do? Google. What else? How many of you Google first? Raise your hands and look around. Okay? Anyone else? No other options. Okay, ask for a referral. Awesome. How many of you have gotten a referral to a new product or service and Googled them first? Raise your hand and look around. All right, perfect. So we're good. We got 100% of the room on both of those, minus the second one. I'm missing 2 hands. That's pretty good odds, yes? Okay, so let's switch gears. Forget about the internet and forget about referrals. In the last 12 months, how many of you made a purchase because of a television ad, radio, newspaper, flyer, door hanger, billboard? I know in Texas and Dallas they have a big Coors billboard on the way in. That doesn't count. Okay. How many of you have made a purchase in the last 12 months because of one of those advertising vehicles? You were not an existing client of this product or service. So it's not like if I shop at Nordstrom and they send me the Nordstrom shoe catalog, that doesn't count. Yes? What'd you buy? Uh-huh. He doesn't like a quiet room. Do it. Never mind. R-rated. Next. Okay. Okay. What'd you buy? I only saw 2 hands.
Nothing specific that I think of, I know for that to happen. It's a car or something on there for sure. I don't know what it is. I know
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. You know, every room that I have asked in this event, and I've talked to about 1,000 people in the last 90 days, I got less than 1 hand in every room. However, as a business owner, how many of you have invested in any traditional advertising to market your own business? Print, paper, radio, TV, newspaper, flyers, billboard. It's kind of an oxymoron. I would actually prefer to listen to a group of soccer moms tell me how they buy than an advertising company all day long. Okay, because we put our business hats on and all of a sudden we start actually checking the mail and reading all the garbage that we would normally take where? To the trash. So, if consumers buy 2 ways. 1, they do a search online, and the way that they search is changing. Or 2, they ask for a referral, and then they go do a search online. What should be priority to business owners? Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So it'll save you a lot of money. Now the challenge is how do you prioritize? What do you do first? Who do you trust? What questions do you ask? I get that. So the way people search is changing. 4 years ago, I stood on stage and I told everyone, you guys beware, because Google is coming out with the requirement that your website has to be responsive, which is a different kind of coding. It shape-shifts your website and makes it display properly on a mobile device. How many of you have smartphones? Okay, we don't even need hands. They were like, really? 2 years ago, I started talking about these wearable devices. These were going to change. This year, #1 sale for Christmas on Amazon from a technology standpoint, what was it? Google Home and Alexa. What did you say? Hoverboards was last year, hon. Last year. I've bought 6. Airports take them.
Google Home and Alexa did a whole lot of TV advertising.
Yes, absolutely. And as a big, valuable brand, you can do that. But small businesses, that's different. And that's not even how they got the majority of their sales. The majority of their sales still came from existing shoppers going to Amazon and it being the big giant banner right at the top, right? So if you're launching something new like artificial intelligence that can control your house, order your pizza, order your Uber, check your flights for you, turn on your lights, turn up your heat, turn down your heat, turn on your garage, open your garage, check on your kids. Last night, by the way, my husband and I sat upstairs in the hotel room and we told Alexa, turn off all the lights. And then we watched the kids on Arlo and they were like in the house. So you can do cool things, right? But that query is different. That query is different. If I ask Alexa, how many of you have one? Okay, do you miss her? I do. I miss her when I travel greatly. I can ask Alexa for anything, but the average consumer is going to say, Alexa, find me an air conditioner repair company in Dallas with the best reviews. That's a different query than somebody going online and going to Google and typing in AC repair Dallas or AC repair Toronto, right? That will change the search queries of how people search. How many of you have kids? Toddlers or younger? Seen them with an iPhone? Does it make you nervous? They make us feel slow. What about teenagers? The average teenager is walking into graduation with a larger database and more influence than the average business owner for 10 years. They are going to be either an influencer of our customer, they are going to be our client, or they're going to be our competitor because this is a generational business. You guys are all about hand-me-downs. Or they're going to be our employee or our employer. And they are fast. They know this stuff like the back of their hand. They have the ability to change the device they communicate on literally in 30 days. Do any of your teenagers use Facebook now? What is Facebook for? Old people. Old people. Imagine having an entire population of the audience decide, you know what, we don't communicate on that anymore. That's for old people. We now communicate here. And as a business owner, you're trying to reach them. So we have to pay attention to how they buy. We have to pay attention to how they shop. And I promise you, age doesn't matter. Every personality style has different affinity for different things. I can ask everyone in every audience if they'd rather read a blog or watch a video or read a headline on Twitter or check in and watch an image on or look at an image on Facebook. Everybody's different. All right? How we feel like technology is changing is like this because we're living in it. How technology is actually changing looks more like this. The number of changes Google had last year to the requirements because of these device changes, because of technology changes, search changes, different trends with how consumers are searching, was over 100. So if you own a website, how long do you think that website's life cycle is now? It's really short, right? So we've got to, in this industry, we at least need to get on a 2-year regimen. 1 year would be preferable, where we don't let a website stick longer than a year. But we actually, it's something that is, it's part of a lifestyle, is we're constantly upgrading it and updating it and changing it, and we're using it to make a what of ourselves? Duplicate, right? So the fundamentals of this are pretty simple. If we're all on the same page and we know how consumers shop and buy and make their decisions, how they're influenced, it's pretty simple. One, it's your website. It's basically you. It's your business. It sits out there. It works while you sleep. Hopefully it does. It is either a turn on or a turn off. It's either an invitation to come in and take action or an invitation to come in and sit, or it's an exit. Depending on how it looks, depending on what's inside of it, depending on everything from the content to the design, the layout, and the framework of the site. But it is your opportunity to replace you in many of the areas that you are already having to work hard at or that you're not even getting to. It is what will communicate with new prospects, new staff, new employees, your existing customers. We need it to do the best job possible. Does that make sense? So next, content. Content is the most important and least budgeted for thing in anyone's marketing plan. No one has a line item when they go in, they say, I'm buying a new website. When in reality, a good web company, they can do a website pretty inexpensively, even custom with design, but the only thing that's difficult that actually has a budget attached to it is content. Because consumers, content's your ability to speak, If I stop speaking and just blink through this whole session, it's a long hour, right? Okay? Online, it's the same thing. No content, no go. Now, in Google's world, content is different. Google is deaf and blind. It reads by Braille, which means that there's a little robot that crawls the content and has to make a logical decision. Where should I put this content? What drawer does this blog into? How many of you guys have seen Bruce Almighty? Okay? So remember when he's in that warehouse and God's standing in there and he says, everything you've ever thought, everything you've ever done, everything you've ever said is in this drawer, right? And boom, this drawer flies across the entire warehouse. That's Google every time you do a search. A drawer flies and it might have 1 million pages, 3 million pages, 300 million pages, 13,000 pages inside that drawer. And if you want to be an option, you got to have a page or more in the drawer, and it should be towards the front. Does that make sense? All right. So we'll dive more into this. Now, reviews. Are you guys influenced by the bling little stars when you go research stuff? Do the stars influence whether or not you're going to move forward? You're going to go to that restaurant, whether you're going to call, whether you're going to buy, whether you're going to order? Yes. The whole room is saying yes. Okay? As a business owner, all your customers are too. I don't want you to go one more season without coming home with bling every time you go on a job. If you go on a job and you have a happy client, you have the ability to come home with a review. But you got to do it on site. It has to be systemic. You need to ask the client, are you guys happy? You guys are doing this already, right? You go up, you show them the thermostat, how to program it, you're showing them what you got done. So now ask them, are you happy? Yes. Great. Would you mind if I send you a text message? I really need to come back with a review. Sure. Send them a text message. They're right there. You're staring into their soul, okay? Through their retina, you're going to say, okay, click that and that and that, and then leave a little love note. Are you more likely to come home with a good review if you do that while you're there? Absolutely. It hurts my soul to come back without a review. I don't like it when we leave an event and I don't have testimonial videos recorded. I'm like, oh, the hour. The time makes me crazy. It has to drive you crazy to go on a job, have someone love you, and you not document it permanently for everyone else to see. It is the least expensive marketing activity you could ever do, is just get your customers who already love you to put that information into a permanent asset that can be displayed and shown anywhere to everyone else who's looking. Because I promise you, everyone else, they'll trust what your clients say over what you say about yourself all day. Do you agree? All right. And then finally, marketing. So we'll come back to marketing. However, that's SEO, social media, local listings. There is a lot to it. Pay-per-click, video. There is a lot to marketing, but we got to get the basics done first. Right now, people get frustrated with their websites. These are some of the things I hear. I'm not getting enough leads. My website's not on page 1 of Google. It's not mobile responsive. It's old. It's ugly. I don't own it. Don't let web companies buy your URLs for you, please. You need to buy them yourself. Anybody ever bought a website and thought they owned it and found out later it wasn't theirs? Okay. Does everyone know for a fact that you own that URL? You be willing to give me a URL and I'll go look? Okay, you can look. I'll even show you how to look. All right? I can't make changes to it. It's missing major core functions. You guys' business, your clients want certain things, period. Schedule service, that's for your existing customers. Sign up for maintenance, existing clients, new clients. Request an estimate, get an online estimate, apply for financing. Those are the basics. You got to have bright call to actions right out of the gate. They need to know you have these things available. Even if you don't provide emergency service, the last thing you want to do is showcase that you close at 5. Can the average person, homeowner, mom, dad, can they take care of their own personal business Monday through Friday, 9 to 5? They don't get to that list, you guys. They don't. We have to at least make it semi-available that it's 6:01 or 5:01 and your Google business listing and your website says Need to schedule an appointment for your lunch break? No problem. Tomorrow, book online. They can schedule a 15-minute conversation for tomorrow at noon. Check that off their list. You call them at noon tomorrow, have a conversation, then book somebody to go out. There's a difference between the sales side of the business and the operations side of the business. One is logistics, that's dispatching. The other is sales, and consumers don't always have time to call during the middle of the day, but if they could book a 10-minute call with you, you're going to increase your rate. But I promise you, the consumers who go online, they search for your company, they find you, they go look at your Google business listing, and it says closed. Closed now. Have you seen that on the map? If it says closed now and they need to talk to somebody today because tomorrow they're swamped with their own meetings and business, you don't want them to go somewhere else. You got to open that door. Say open 24/7 even if you're not, and then give them the ability to book for times that you're available. Does that make sense? Okay. We've even went as far as to help get our dealers connected to portable air conditioning companies, spot cooling companies. You familiar with those? Like a Portacool? We've got them connected to where if an emergency comes in late at night, they can take the emergency. We funnel the lead to the spot cooling company. Spot cooling company delivers portable air conditioner. The main HVAC company calls them in the morning and sells them on the replacement, repair, or installation, and so forth. So they provide 24/7 service without having to staff any more people. There's a way around everything, but we got to eliminate the exit doors. So we've got to do the right things in the right order at the right time. This is usually where we kind of miss the mark. I'll see companies that are investing in search engine optimization on a website that can't be optimized. I'll see companies paying for pay-per-click on a website that's an immediate turn-off the second someone goes there. I'll see somebody paying for all these marketing services, but when you Google the company name and the word reviews, which everyone will do, there's only 2 reviews on the most present review system out there, which is Google Business Listings, the Google Maps area, and they're both negative. So they're spending thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars or a couple $100. People are finding them and then they leave. We have to set things up in a very, very sequential order, which I'll help you guys with. Anybody ever hired Bob, just a guy, to do your website? Just the guy. Oh, bless you. Here's the challenge. Mothers don't give birth to Bobs that have all the skills that you need to get one of these things done. We just don't. You got to have a designer. They're creative. They dress nice. They have friends, right? They go out with real people on Friday night. You got to have a developer. They have friends, but they all have nicknames. 1247 AK5. And they're not with anybody real, but they're hanging out with people. Okay? Their garage is a physical living space. If you have a designer build your website without a developer, it's going to be pretty but not have a brain. If you have a developer build your website, you're going to have a great website, great functionality. It's not going to have any design for conversions. An engineer, if anybody knows one, they're analytical, they're researching, they take time, they're long processors. Do they guess? If you ask them to guess, are they going to give you a guess? Can you just give me your personal opinion? They're like, huh? Where's the data? Hey, their brains work different, but that data will guide these guys on what to do. Content writer. You got to have somebody that understands your industry, your weathers, your buying habits, your buyer personas, the different personalities, and they've got to know search engines and how to properly word every single page on your website in order for it to get crawled by a robot and then consumed by a human. That make sense? All right. So, competitive advantage. When somebody goes to a site, you have a matter of seconds to show them who you are, what you do, where you do it, how to reach you, how to reach you, how to reach you, how to reach you. So I'll just show you this one as a quick example. Who you are, what you do, where you do it, how to reach you, how to reach you, how to reach you, how to reach you, and so forth. Just a matter of seconds. I don't want to have to leave. I need to be able to snap a screenshot of the top half of your website and everything's got to be in the right area. Okay? For Google and for humans, you guys have either 2 or 4 different businesses that you run, and you don't run them at the same time. They're at opposite times of the year, right? You have an air conditioning business and you have a heating business. Okay, if you do plumbing or electrical, you may go year round, but for the most part, you have 2 different businesses and they run at different times of the year. They have a start date, they have an end date, and they are controlled by God, the weather. It changes depending on the weather. right? So what we don't want to do is we don't want to confuse people by creating an area on our site that says our services and then mush all of the heating and cooling content together. Or worse, use the word cooling when a consumer looks at it as an air conditioner. Or depending where you're at, if you're in Toronto, you guys, furnaces, they refer to furnaces, right? In California, it's heaters. Okay? In Washington, it's heaters. In New York, it's furnaces, boilers, heat pumps. So it depends where I am in the country. Consumers use different language, and they're going to search for different kind of content. But I don't want to squish it when it's one is in January and one is in August, right? That's going to confuse Google and people. Your primary services are pretty simple. And usually it's the biggest missing element on every single website. AC repair, AC service, AC installation, AC replacement, AC tune-up, AC maintenance. You could go AC warranty, AC cost, AC pricing, AC installation crew. And you could go into other variations. But those are your basics. You have 6 primaries for winter, 6 primaries for summer. If you don't have a page that specifically says AC repair, don't forget, in the city, you go into a junk drawer. So let's look real quick. So if I look for AC repair, let's get rid of Florida. How many pages are in this drawer? This right here this is your filing system. That's your file cabinet. So this file cabinet has how many pages in it? 96 million. Okay? Let's look for cooling. The awesome page on so many websites. How many does this have? I got to remind you, you only make money if you are in the top 10 of that number. Let's go with the best page. I'm done. I'm not saying that for real. The page on every website that is the biggest hunk of junk on the planet. How many competitive pages? 6.5 billion pages. Billion. So if you think about how Google evaluates a page, think of it like paper. You have a green hang folder, you're going to put a label on it. You have a manila envelope in it, you're going to put a label on it. And then you have a page of content in it, and you're going to put a label on it. Hopefully it's about one thing, because when you start making one file about too many things, you can't even find it in your house, right? You got to organize this stuff in your home. So if I change this to AC repair, let's go to Florida. If I can spell Sebastian. So if I change this to AC repair, Sebastian, Florida, now how many pages do I have in the drawer? 360,000. That's doable. I can compete with that. You have your pay-per-click ads at the top. You have your Google Maps secondary, which only works if you have a physical address in that city, and I'll explain more about that. And then the very next one, we have Arnold Air Conditioning sitting right on top, page 1, position 1. That's a moneymaker spot. Now, as you go through these pages, so let me just pull this. Let's see here. That's weather. So let's go to All Tech, since that's the one I'm looking at. So for every, let's go see URL. Okay. For every page, and a page means a specific product or service you want to sell that other people are looking for in the city they're looking. It's that simple. If I want to get found for AC installation for Dade City, Florida, I need a page so that Google's bots can crawl it and not be confused that says AC installation, Dade City, Florida. If I want one for AC service, AC repair, AC maintenance, air conditioner maintenance, air conditioner installation, air conditioner service, air conditioner repair, air conditioning repair, air conditioning service, air conditioning maintenance, you see how it grows? Every one of those searches is a new piece of content. If I have this content on here, I can take this phrase and I can get it moved up the ranks so that it starts ranking on Google. I'm curious. So this is out of 137 pages. And we'll go down, get an idea where they rank. So this is a newer site, so you'll notice right here, this is a perfect example. So this is the website, and this is their rank. So they're on page 1, position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. All right? That's a moneymaker. What do you notice about this page as far as what's going to stand out and who's going to get the business on this page? The stars. Awesome. So everyone who has a website, even the ones that we built and went live with less than 4 months ago, they got to get redone. Google came out with a new, this is the #1 competitive advantage you have right now, and it's not going to last forever. Google came out with a new, let's see if they've got theirs started. They do? Okay. So there is a new coding structure called Schema, specifically for HVAC, that allows us to develop a site and allows us to hard code a display of your cumulative total reviews on every page. So it's time consuming, right? You notice on here, so if you want to see what is Google index for your site, all you do is you type in the word site with a colon and you put your URL, no spaces, and it's going to show you for this particular site, there are 806 pages indexed by Google. And you can see those pages. So now it's only going to give me a display of that website's pages. So you'll notice on here, what do you see different? Every page is now hard-coded with the cumulative number of reviews and the stars. So what'll happen is, and they're not done by any means, because I can tell they've got pages that have not been updated yet. Literally even, so it looks like they've done like the first 60. Even websites that we have done, we've called clients and said, we just went live with your site. We totally need to redo it. And this is why. And I mean, the guys that get it, is the second they look at it and they're like, I want that. Let's do that. That makes sense. Because once every other marketing company knows how to do this and has the talent to do it, and every other company knows that their site should rank with all the stars, and they've got a good, decent amount of stars across all the different places you can collect reviews, if everyone has it, is it still as effective? Not at all. So you guys have a window where Google doesn't have requirements regarding it. Google's put out the ability for us to do this through Schema for HVAC, which I'll show you. So you don't want to get too nerdy, but that's what it is. Okay, that'll give you a headache. But this is basically the schematics of how you recode a website, and every single page has to be redone. All right, and you've got an opportunity to kill it. So I'll show you one that we've done. On every page. So this is out of Minnesota. As you continue to go through, you can go down every single page. These guys, I mean, they have content for everything, for every primary service, every primary question, for every primary brand, for every primary product. They have it for tax credits, savings, rebates. Right now we're doing a big tax credit. If you think about how consumers shop, that's what you're looking for. So on your sites, when you have a website, your first priority is, outside of design and development and make sure it looks good, 1 page per service, and each service page needs to focus on a primary location. Stop. A primary location. So you'll notice here, if I tell this page it's just air conditioning repair, it doesn't have any value, right? Because it goes in a big bucket with millions and millions, hundreds of millions of other pages. But if this is for Tampa Bay, now we're giving it direction as you go through. Now, secondarily, what they need, and I'm glad I just looked at that, I didn't know if they were working on it yet, they need to start building city pages. So on your service pages, you can go after all your services and one city, but you also want to do business outside of your hometown, right? Where your address is. So the only way to get into those drawers, you've got to get into those drawers with content that is specifically geared to those cities. You've got to have something for Google that specifically says city first, service second. So these guys just got started. They've only got a handful. Looks like they've got 10 total city pages. What this should turn into is massive. Now here's how this is done. And I got to show you another, I have to show you one that's further along in the process. So 5. All right. I'm going to go through quick. So, your service area pages. You can have this content created and keep it updated with one simple objective, and that is get a review from a mobile app every time you go on site. When you get a review, you have, for example, well, they're doing a review and a check-in. So let's go to Jacksonville, Florida. When you go on a job site, you can check in using a mobile app. It's called Nearby Now. Okay, what we do is every time our clients go on a job site, they check in. Don't check in because you're working with us. But they check in, they'll take a picture, they'll shoot a video, and boom, we get a notice that they just checked into a new city. Secondly, they will go on, ask the client for a review. They get a review in the door. We take those reviews and we put them in a holding tank and we figure out, where do we need them? What do we need these reviews for? So if I go look, let's go to Beacon, Fishkill. I think they're in Fishkill, New York. If I go look for our client by brand, right? Because if they get a referral, somebody's going to go Google them. If they find them online, they're going to go Google them and they're going to look to see. If I'm looking by brand and I want to see how the company is visually showcasing itself, they're good. They have 127 positive reviews sitting on Google. Their Yelp looks good. I got stars everywhere. Their Facebook account looks good. Review Buzz looks good. Nearby Now looks good. Everything. I don't want the content to go to any of those. I want the content to go to their website, and I want it to help with optimization, meaning getting their website on page 1 of Google for the services in the cities they want to do business. If this was low, I would route the reviews here if there wasn't enough reviews on the map. If their Yelp had 1 star and 1 review, I got to get 32 5-star reviews for Yelp, hopefully, cross your fingers, to change that number to a 4.8. Because Yelp's a little finicky, I'll say that. And then I'm done. I don't want them on Yelp anymore. I don't want them on Home Advisor. I don't want them on Angie's List. I don't want them on any membership sites. I want them here on Google Business Listing on the map where people visibly see it before they get into any directories. And I want them on my website because I own that. That's my property. So you as a business owner own that property. It's got to appreciate in value. You investing in that's going to help. Yes. I don't use Review Buzz. I don't use it because there's only 2 systems that allow us as developers to have access to an open API and use schema coding. Review Buzz is not one of them. Review Buzz is incredible at getting third-party review sites built up, but I'll tell you, if Yelp changes their algorithm, which they do, and decides not to display your most recent or best reviews and just to showcase the junk ones because they're trying to get you to increase your advertising from $250 to $2,500 a month, you're toast. So we got to have more control over that. That's the only reason. They're really good at getting a lot of reviews, but there's no logic behind it. Same thing. There's only 2. And they give us the code. We build it into the site. We optimize it. We create content for it. We link to it, and that's what grows. Okay. Last thing I'll leave you with. You guys have a sheet of paper in front of you. It's a half sheet. If you are interested in having us go through and run a ton of reports, so for example, there are reports that give kind of a 30,000-foot view on how Google looks at you online. There are reports that showcase your local listings. And anybody want to give me an address and I don't have time. If you stay and give me your address, we'll pull them. Okay. There are 70 local listing accounts. That is a get it done, get it out of the way. It's inexpensive. You can't be out there with information that's incorrect. Wrong phone numbers, wrong addresses, your competitor having their phone number on your ad, which happens all day. Fill that paper out, leave it with Mike and I. We'll run a bunch of reports, and at least you'll have some awareness going into it. Do you guys have a headache? Are you okay? Did my middle row learn as much as my front row?
No, we learned way more.
You guys, this is the bottom line. Without clarity, you cannot focus. We need to create clarity in where you are and where you want to go. Without focus, you cannot execute. There needs to be a very focused plan. It's not about the next salesperson coming in trying to sell you bells, widgets, or the magic blue pill. And without execution, you cannot win. We need to execute, be a plan. And this is not a project, it's a lifestyle. Every time you sit down, your company should be going through and looking at, what are we doing that's working? Let's do more of it. What are we doing that's not working? Let's reallocate it to something that is. And what are we not doing yet that we should be doing? Let's add it. If you have that mindset, you'll be golden. I hope this helps.
And everybody, Jennifer will give you this no charge consultation, even if you're using another marketing company. Please feel free to take advantage of it. They'll run reports for you and your company, so feel free to sign up for it. And you can say, I know we've heard a lot of information and it can be a little bit overwhelming.
All right.
What are the first 3 things they should look at? Or, you talk about pages for everything. What would be the
website, content, and the accuracy of your company's information everywhere? That can throw you off. If you have wrong phone numbers, wrong addresses, old companies' addresses. I mean, I just ran 3 of them for people in the last session, and there was not one that was good. It was bad. So you need to have that awareness, get them cleaned up, and so forth. Your website, and it's think of it like your salesperson. What would you want them to be? You want them to dress nice. You want them to be educated. You want them to look good. You want, you got to give your website those same tools, because it is technically out there representing you 24/7. Or misrepresenting you.
And something as small as like the local listings that she's talking about. You've got somebody in the office that can do that. That's something that you can do for those 70 different directories that are online that you probably don't even know you're in, because I couldn't tell you what they all are. But you can pay a company, a reputable company, to do something like this for you for a couple of $100. So it does not cost as much as you would think.
Yes.
So take advantage of some of the services that are out there, because you'll wear so many hats. I mean, you'll have so many things you'll have to do. So just think about it.
That list, everything that's on that piece of paper, it is in as close to the right order as we can get it, starting with websites, working your way down. Everything on there we do, just because I don't usually go into there. So if you need help, please don't hesitate to ask, and we can help you at least get organized for next year.
Companies and advertising, social media, and your internet advertising. What's our average budget that you see there?
I have clients that spend $300 a month, and I've got clients that spend $60,000 a month, and everything in the middle. So it doesn't. Yeah, and you don't want to think about it as a hard fixed cost. When I say you want to do more of what works, that means if I spend $1 and make $5, I want to do more of that. And that's how marketing works. When you're able to measure it, and when you're focused on doing the right things, and you're not just burning and churning cash. What you're referring to is advertising. So advertising is literally you are burning and churning cash, and if you stop spending, you have nothing. Marketing is the dollar I spend today is worth more a year from now, and worth more than that a year from now. So start thinking more about long-term compounding interest impacts on your business, and you'll make more progress too.
I think Jennifer can tell you a little bit about what are the costs of some of the websites, because they can be as little as $2,000 to sort out the website. We're just talking about the number of areas that you look in and the number of pages. I was talking to her about this before we started. How much was an additional page?
It's $100 for content. That's your most expensive piece of that, because there's no way to audit it or copy it. It has to be unique. Other than that, everything else is inexpensive.
Then you can start choosing how many keywords and phrases, but you have to have the content on the page in order for people to find your commission service in Cantar and Cypress.
You can put this report on the title people are actually using to search.
Yes.
We can tell you everything, even down to the best company in your area. We can strip every single piece of what they're doing. Yes, we use heat maps for everything. That's why our stuff is placed in certain areas, and you don't want to mess with that. Yeah. For which? No.
I don't mean as a good company, I don't know if you're a preferred vendor or something.
Oh.
Their network
No.
contractors.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, you're all right.
No, I mean, these guys keep us so busy. It's,
That's all I was asking, so we use.
thank you.
we
Thank
use
you
review-
guys
we were
very
using
much.
customer audit and review buzz, but I see the definitely benefit of what you offer with it all in one package too, because we're using this person for that, this person for this.
No, in our own business, getting our own internal departments. If the social media team does a promotional campaign, just getting them to go send it to the flippin' local listing team and the web people and the blog people and the SEO people. I can't imagine not having them in the same company. It's impossible because we call it leveraged assets and collaboration. So I want them to collaborate and leverage assets, period. If we have an asset, I want it leveraged across every department. It's taken
Well,
me years.
I definitely want you to talk to us, so.
Let me make sure.
That's me
Can I
out
take
there.
a, okay, it
That's
is.
reflection.
Can I
Oh,
take
got
a
my other.
picture of your badge so I can separate because there's so many?
Oh, but-
Okay, yeah, I can get one of you too. That's fine. Here, we'll do this. Like, come here. All right. Mike. Okay, 1, 2, 3. See? Social media, that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right, awesome. We'll set up time. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Is it time already? Switcheroo?
Like, it was 2 minutes late.
Okay.
Good, how you, sir? Fine. Move right along. You can tell me who this first.
Didn't I do that? I didn't? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, shoot.
I won't be,